everyone. Thank you for joining us. I am Ida Pearlie, the Deputy Director here at the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association. And today we are joined with Tom Saad from Homegrown. Tom, how are you doing?
Hey, Ida. How you doing? Thanks for having me today.
Thank you for joining us. You're coming to us live from Vegas.
I am. I beat COVID about a month ago, so I made my wife go on like a little vacation tour with me. I'm trying to see it all. I'm taking it all in right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah, I was supposed to go last week for MJ BizCon, but I'm just getting too old to hang out those late nights. So nice, relaxing 3 days in Vegas. So that's where we're at.
Hey, yeah, I think it's easier to enjoy. You can enjoy the town. It's not. I mean, you're done with the conference and you're able to just be a tourist and then just relax and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I've learned to do it. There's no better place. Great food, good pools, hanging out. So I like it out here.
Right. That's cool. So, Tom, how long have you been in the cannabis industry?
That's a tricky question.
How would you like to answer it?
let me talk to my general counsel. No, I've been, I got in caregiving world like 2009 a little bit. My mom was a multiple sclerosis patient, and I kind of begged her to grow for her. I was living in an apartment in Holt at the time, and you couldn't grow in the apartment. So I sat my dad down. I gave him this whole spiel. I was newly married, and I'm like, Dad, everybody's growing pot in Lansing. Like, can I please be a caregiver for Mom in your basement? So he gave me this little like 4x6 closet that he put a lock on. And my brother, who's like super conservative, was so against it. So like, I remember we had Thanksgiving dinner in the basement, and there's this closet. You could hear the Vortex fan running, and like these 6 plants were like so controversial. But that was my first stretch at it in 2009, and then kind of got involved in the Lansing scene. From there, met some really good people, Ryan Basor, Danny Trevino, who's in federal prison right now. We hope we can get him out soon. He was a great advocate in the beginning. Shakina Pena, Robin Schneider, Lawrence, Sam at Pure Options, all those guys, we're trying to mold this industry early on and try to pave the way for a regulated market. So was kind of in that scene, and then I don't know how all these smart people like all got in Lansing together, but we were able to make some real progress. Robin like paved the way for us. She was our voice, and she was our floor general. And, I remember Lawrence at Old 27 was one of the key guys that I followed, and he really understood like the landscape of licensing and lobbying and regulation. And so kind of just got under his wing with that side of things. And we built this thing up from here. In 2017, I wanted to get in the regulated market, and I got to grow in Las Vegas, actually. So we had a grow facility by the new Raiders Stadium out here. I was trying to go back and forth. That was really difficult. I was married. I had a 3-year-old, 1-year-old, and I was trying to go to Vegas once a month. Was not fun. A lot of work. Sent my brother-in-law out there to help be the lead grower. Once Michigan went regulated, my partner and I split. I said, let me take Michigan, you take Vegas. So he ended up taking the Vegas facility. I worked really hard, got the first retail license in Lansing at Homegrown on Jolly and Penn, the first rec store and med store, I think, in Lansing. Got our grow license in 2018. And then, it's been an upward trajectory since then. Here we are.
Wow. That's impressive. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. It comes with a lot of bumps and bruises. A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of stress, but I think we're all gamblers in this industry a little bit, and just kept gambling. I remember it almost makes me a little bit of emotional to think about, but you remember the board, the 5-panel board that we had to get through? So that was like all of our worry, right? It was like judgment day. Felt really like I was going to the pearly gates, and God was like, this is what you've done, and your whole future depends on it. So I remember I was actually driving to Detroit watching it on telecast, because you could watch it on telecast. And I remember I got 5-0 board approval, and I remember going to the side of the road and like breaking down, man. It was so tough, the journey. Wow. And when I got that license, I just felt like the sky was the limit from there, but that journey was really the biggest sweat in this whole thing. So I talked to some of my buddies that Ryan, Lawrence, all these guys. And I recall that one moment, and that was like the aha moment. It was like, once we got through that, we felt like we could break through anything after that. So
that's really cool. Yeah.
We deal with bumps every day. My world's a lot different now. It's more HR, tax compliance, regulatory. It's not the fun, I like to throw weed, sell it out of turkey bags. That's what really gets me excited. So I'm not really able to, we still do wholesale in turkey bags, ostrich bags now, which is kind of cooler, a little bit bigger.
That's cool.
Yeah, but that's the side of the business I really like. Unfortunately, I feel more like a CEO these days than I do, kind of that caregiver world feels far removed from where we are now.
Right.
And now we're managing 100 employees and trying to do good by them and trying to do good by the city and the state and the patients and the customers. So, it's been a wild ride.
Yeah. Well, and in a way, you still are a caregiver. You're just on a mass scale. And I understand what you're saying. It takes away that personal level when you're growing. How's your mom doing, by the way?
My mom's awesome, man. She's one of those people that she's got a positive outlook. That's how she beats things. So she's not going to tell you about MS. She's not going to talk about it. She does daily injections, tries to stay healthy. She's 63 now. We notice it, but she won't speak of it, right? She just kind of keeps her head down. And luckily, my dad is so supportive of her, and he's like a great companion for her. And he took it really serious. And they got into more like holistic, organic eating and cleaner living and exercising. I know they're getting older, so they're not exercising as much as they used to, but they take good care of each other. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, well, it's nice when you have, family support and encouragement to step out and do something that we've been told, our whole lives is illegal and is wrong. So that's awesome to have that support. That's nice.
Yeah, and if I could speak to that, what's funny, I was on an honor roll. I was a high school and college wrestler. I went to college. My dad's family were Lebanese immigrants. My mom's family were Polish immigrants. They didn't come from much. They grew up on the east side of Detroit. Went to Denby High School down there. Actually, this is a funny story, but White Boy Rick's now in the industry, and so he and my dad grew up on the same street. He was 10 years later.
Oh, wow.
They were both on Wilshire Street. So very humble beginnings. And my dad's brothers were like ruffians, hooligans. I learned kind of that world from them, but he kept me tried to keep us very straight laced, almost like military-ish. And so when I broke into cannabis and I left, I was in education. I thought that I was going to get a lot of flack from them. And I did in the beginning a little, but quite frankly, they've always been supportive. My mom's been a trimmer for me. She's still a trimmer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, still trim. She doesn't like it as much anymore because it's more corporate now. So she likes, they just kind of talk and listen to music, and it's more like a factory, obviously.
Right.
Oh, but my dad's actually, he retired from Ford a year ago, and I have him kind of overseeing a lot for me, to kind of take some pressure off the day-to-day operations. He was a facilities manager at the F-150 plant. So it was just funny that they were I remember my dad like smelling our breath when we'd come home from high school parties and smelling my fingertips to make sure I wasn't smoking weed and drinking. And I always tasted like Altoids, that was like my cover up, but he could get through vodka and Altoids, I guess. So he somehow
oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so he somehow went from that to like they're all in. Like they're so proud. They talk about it like it's their business, and I appreciate that. It's become kind of a family affair. And now I have both my in-laws. I have father-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, another brother-in-law, mom, dad, best friend. They're all in the business now, so it's kind of cool.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I've got probably 15 family and friends. Biggie said his family and business. I would agree with him in some senses. There's a great line about it I won't repeat in one of his songs, but it, I've come to really appreciate it. There's been a lot of bumps, family's tough. Getting family to work weekends and holidays isn't always easy.
Right.
But I will say the loyalty, the love, them putting their hearts into the business, that's what helped grow this thing for me. Is I don't only have my passion, but I got like the passion of a bunch of people that love and care about me too behind it.
And that shows. It's important. Absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit about your scholarship opportunities with Homegrown?
Yeah, so we're about to launch another one this year. We did one last year. What we wanted to do was Black Lives Matter was really going strong last year, and there were protests all over the country, and we saw the police brutality. And we have a large African American workforce community. We have a group of people I talked to, and I said, let's do something. I chopped it up with them, and I said, I want to take action. I want to do something for the community that could help. And because I came from an education background, and my father stressed education on me so much, like as a way out of poverty, essentially. I always thought education was opportunity, and opportunity is how to kind of break the cycle of kind of a lot of institutional, let's call it what it is, like institutional racism, institutional oppression. When I taught in the inner city schools, you teach in like Lansing, and then you go to like let's call Okemos High School, you just feel the difference of like just walking in the building. Sometimes they're brick and they're locked down, and they're older facilities. And then you go to these other schools and there's like light and it's brand new construction, and you just kind of feel that whole like you kind of feel it. And what I thought is like, how can we go into those schools in Lansing and really give kids opportunities? So we posted the scholarship. We had applicants, and we found a girl out of Everett. She was actually the valedictorian of Everett. Her name is Ridwan Omar. She's an amazing girl. Her family is, I believe, of Nigerian descent. They came here. The parents were like the most respectful, kind, sweet people I've ever met. And she's on a full ride right now to Michigan State. This was her first year, actually. So I'm in communication with the mom. I hope to give another scholarship out this year. And I guess my goal would be like in 10, 15 years to have all these, students and have a big picture and everybody's doing well and everybody's in the workforce and like we kind of impacted their lives. So, I used to be like more macro. Now on a micro level, I just feel like really helping like individual people is really the way to give back. Sometimes it's hard to get involved in like huge policy and huge change, but like impacting on an individual basis, I think that's stuff you carry on for generations. So we're hoping that this scholarship provides that.
Absolutely. And you're right. You are carrying on, helping to facilitate carrying on for future generations, because you're empowering that person too. That's really awesome, Tom. That's heartwarming to hear. My goodness.
Yeah, thanks. And, I know Ida, obviously we know your story and your daughter's story, and I have 2 daughters, and like we're trying, it was neat. It was a female that won, and I just feel like empowering a young woman of color. She's a young Muslim African American. I mean, she was, she's awesome. And I think,
and what better story to be told? The American dream.
Absolutely. I mean, the parents spoke in broken English, and they were like, "You picked the right family. We couldn't have afforded this without you." And it was just like an awesome story. And she wanted to. Like they wanted to stay anonymous and private, and we asked her to tell her story a little bit, and I think they did some in the City Pulse. But I think we're going to try to do this every year and just try to find somebody local in Lansing. Last year was Everett. I'm hoping to find an Easter and a Sexton, and just kind of work through the different high schools in Lansing.
That's really cool. I'm already tearing up.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, girl power, I guess, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Tom, can you tell me a little bit, like, what inspires you to keep doing this? I mean, I know you've touched on some key points.
So I'll be honest, this might sound terrible, but like generational wealth, I guess, in some ways. But that probably sounds like a terrible answer. But realistically, like my family, my wife's family, very blue collar, auto, Metro Detroit. What would be great is like I would love to leave a legacy, like with my name, that I built something that I could pass on. I don't know if I want, I don't know if I want this life for my daughters. It's a very stressful life, Right. I don't have to tell you, cannabis is not easy, but this was kind of my shot to like break the cycle and really put something behind my name. And like generationally, I'd like to impact my family. And, the world's crazy right now. And I feel like resources give you opportunities, give you options. And so I just work really hard to try to create something for my daughters and create a life for them, create a life for my grandkids. And that's kind of how I talked to a few of my buddies that are in this at this point. And, like for us, it's maintaining it. It's everybody can hit and run. You can get to the NBA, play 2 years, blow your knee out. But if you can like build something that lasts and build something that like can help your family for 100 years, and like maybe like my grandkids are like sitting up north one day and they're like, yeah, Grandpa Tom was the one that like did it, like that's what kind of gets me going at this point in my life. Because like a lot of, let's be honest, cannabis, there's a lot of money in cannabis. Everybody talks about it. We know that. But like the money stuff, the fun stuff, it's like the first year, it's like being a rookie in the NBA. Yeah, I want to buy a cool watch. I want to buy a cool car. And, all the cannabis owners, like, we're all like, I got this. But really, that stuff died. That you don't feel that. It's just kind of like empty. I think what really matters is like building something for like your employees, creating jobs, scholarship opportunities, building stuff for your kids, leaving an impact. I feel like that is what's more passionate for me at this point. And I'm 41 now, so I have a different perspective than I did 10 years ago when I got into this thing. But I feel like trying to impact the world and be a good, humble family man, like that's kind of what gets me going these days. And I'll tell you, my life could have gone 100 ways. I'll tell you one other funny story. So like at 25, I was kind of wild back then. And
Tom.
I used to be a little wild. And I remember I went to college with that. When my brother went away, my brother and I lived together. We were always close. He went to Virginia for a job. And I was like, I kind of felt empty. He had left. I was up. I graduated. I was teaching. I was kind of in a funk. I was probably partying way more than I should have. And then I got in a little bit of trouble. And then I got in trouble when I was in trouble. So like it was a whole
oh goodness. Escalating. Right.
It ended up with me sleeping at my parents' house for about 8 months, And during that time, I remember, and I didn't have a license. I was dealing with stuff, I had like, stuff at court, DUI stuff. You know how it is. Everybody goes through it when they're young. And I'm through the board already, so I'll talk freely about this stuff, I guess. But I remember, like, I thought, man, life's done for me. Like, I'm never going to be able to, like, accomplish my goals. And I always thought, like, wasting talent was, like, the worst thing in the world, right? So then marijuana came around, and when it did, it kind of gave me an opportunity to, like, kind of get back on my feet. And you know how we did it. There was no bank loans. It was like, hey, can I borrow $5,000 from a friend? Can I do this? And that's kind of how I got it going. And like, without this business, my life could have gone 99 other ways. This is like the one chance I had to play the role that I think I was born to play. Cause I think I'm pretty good at what I do, and I think like, I have impacted the business and I live it. I love it. I love everything about it. And I can't imagine living any other way. And marijuana gave me that opportunity. And I just think back to like sleeping on my parents' couch. I lived in Spartan Village. I don't know if you know Spartan Village in East Lansing, but they're like barracks, okay. And the reason it was like a project of East Lansing. And I moved there after I got off the probation for all the alcohol stuff when I was 25. And I remember my buddy came and visited me and he's like, Tom, it's going to get better. Don't worry. And like the reason I lived there was you didn't have to have credit checks. Like there was a bus system that ran there, like the 20 bus. So for those reasons, like to be where I am today, I'm just so humbled and I feel so great. And without marijuana, like there was no way my life would have gone this way. And I'm a really bad employee, by the way, like the worst employee. There's no way that I could show up for work on time or like keep a consistent job, listen to my boss. Like it wasn't happening. So I owe all the thanks really like, it was my father who helped get me through like a tough time. Then I met my wife. And then when I met my wife, life, just started turning around and here we are, 15 years later. I feel really great and blessed to be here.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. It's humbling for me to hear that as well. And you are impacting, and that's so cool. By changing your life, you're changing those around you, and that's really neat. That's inspiring.
Trying, thanks. I learn every day. It's not easy, but I'm learning.
Right, exactly. Can you tell us some of the benefits of being a MiCIA member?
Yeah, so actually, I had an aha moment as well this summer.
Okay.
First of all, like Robin, you, and I consider Ryan almost part of your team, Basor, that whole, even though I don't know if he is a part of your team, he just represent. I love you guys.
Well, he was originally, yeah.
So here's what I love about the MiCIA. Like, first of all, Robin obviously is the godmother. I always mess with her and I always try to kiss her ring whenever I see her just to like show her respect. So that's like our like running joke. But we kind of came up together from like being in the bottom of Story Olds and talking and like to be where she is now. I mean, she just spoke at the Las Vegas convention and wow, how far it's come. But the real moment for me was when we were up north this year and I was with some of the like guys that I really respect, like Sam from Pure Options and the Breeze guys in Hazel Park. And, I could go through them and we're kind of more like the homegrown guys. I don't want to use the pun to promote my business, but the guys that came up through the industry. And there's a lot of groups that I respect like that. The Gauges, the House of Danks, the Pure Options, us, Canasaur. Those guys are all like original guys that navigated it. And those are the guys that I really got the love for, the respect for, And so when you go to MiCIA, you see all those people and every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when I was at the conference, I'd moved into a nicer neighborhood and finally came up and some guy was like, oh, he's your neighbor and he's your neighbor and he's your neighbor. And like, here's what I realized. And this was funny to me. And this is, I'm just an honest guy, but it's like, we used to dance for them, like we used to beg to get insurances and like legal. And now like Robin's got all these guys dancing for us, And it just kind of felt good that it's like, we kind of evolved into an industry where we came out of the closets. We were all basically underground, like we didn't tell anybody, we were all commercial realtors, right? To like be in
Right.
a conference with all these people and state legislators, and Robin does such a great job putting all these important people in a room, and it's like we're it now, we're like we're the girl at the dance, so and so like to kind of go from where we were to like the heads of all these banks and insurance companies, and they want our business now, right? So
Right.
MiCIA kind of made all that happen, and I've just seen this evolution and where it's gone, and I'm just so proud of you guys for what you've done and kind of the footprint you've put on the Michigan cannabis space. And what I hope is that the OGs all keep their place, right? Like I want us to win, right? And that's why I root for my competitors that I know came up the same way that I did. Some of them even harder, mentioned Danny Trevino. I don't mean to keep saying him, but Danny was a great guy. He was an advocate for marijuana. Now, Danny was a little silly with some of the things he would say and do. We know that about him. But at the end of the day, he was doing what everybody's doing right now. And he's doing 15 years in federal prison. And he's got a 5-6-year-old daughter right now that he doesn't get to tuck in at night. And that girl was his life, So like those people, I don't ever want to lose Ryan Basor doing 4 years in federal prison, Danny Trevino doing 15 years in prison. How many friends I had raided and kids ripped out of their homes. You know the stories, right? This stuff's real. So, like, for people to try to buy into this industry, like it just doesn't play as well with me, And I'm a capitalist. Obviously, I'm gonna network with everybody. I'm gonna do business with people, but like the people that really have my heart are the ones that like went through the hardships and like beat this game, And those are the ones I really respect. So, and not to keep shouting out, like, Sam, because he's, in Lansing, one of the biggest guys, but like what he just built in Frandor and like some of the things he's doing, winning cannabis, because these are local Lansing guys. Like, I just got so much love for that, and I really respect what those guys are doing.
Well, and that's what you're promoting too, is there's enough for everyone. And there clearly is. I mean, this is, we're all residents of Michigan. This is our home state, and we're here to take care of each other. And it's frustrating when, the larger, corporations want to come in and try to squash that and take that away from us. And it's like, well, wait a second, this is our home turf. These are our people. Yeah, exactly.
And we're winning. I'm telling you, we're winning.
We are winning. Yes.
That's what's the most exciting part about it all. And we're going to continue to win. And the groups that because they don't have the hunger we have, we had hunger. Right. And I've lost a little hunger. I'll be honest. I'm trying to get it back. It's hard. It's hard sometimes with a full belly to stay hungry. I'm sure Biggie rapped about that too. But some guys.
Well, but at least you're aware of it, though. You're aware of wanting to change that and your perception.
And I'm trying to put hungry people around me too, to help with that, because again, it's about work-home balance, and I'm trying to be a family man and a father of daughters, and like to me, that stuff is almost more important than the business at this point. So, trying to stay hungry, trying to stay humble, trying not to get caught up. It's a real delicate balance, I'm telling you, and I work on it every day, and so luckily I have a good family support system for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see you succeeding, Sam or Tom. We really do.
Yeah, either way. No thanks.
Absolutely.
I can't believe I'm giving my name on an interview. I'm always worried somebody's going to look me up and try to rob me.
I know. Goodness.
I still watch my mirror when I leave my store. There's still, let's be honest, there's still that element that we have to worry about. We're not federally legal. Tax liability is huge for us. That's why I spend so much time. I know I said I don't want to talk too much about taxes, but like that's such a big part of my life. We use Maynard Custarian, who I think an MiCIA member, Tim Bograkis. Give a shout out to them. And they've really helped us kind of turn into a real business. But that stuff is stressful. Quarterly taxes are stressful. And you realize you're paying tax on stuff you didn't even think you made money on. I'm paying more tax than I'm making. That's tough sometimes. So just kind of balancing all that and learning how to run a business. Like none of us went to school for marijuana leadership, did we?
Right. No.
We're all like learning every day on the go. And what's so cool is like, you get to be a part of like deals with, we work to deal with a group out of California. We're going, Vegas BizCon, like taxes, legal. We've learned so many aspects of business, supply chain, logistics, manufacturing, distribution. Networking, lobbying, politics. This business teaches it all to you. Fast forward, and if you can't handle it on your feet, you're going to get chopped up a little bit. So, that's kind of the pressure sometimes. And I kind of embrace the pressure. But like I said, that's why I'm trying to really work on work-home balance, because if you let that eat you up, you get consumed. You can't sleep at night. It's funny, when my dad came on to help me, and he wears it all on his shoulders. He's like, I got up to pee at 2 a.m. and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I'm like, I've been there, Dad. Take melatonin, because I've had so many sleepless nights, like alarms, like alarm going off at your grow at 3 a.m. and you're like running out at 3 o'clock in the morning to check if you got robbed. And, that's still a reality. Let's be honest. So
Yeah.
that's what this business is, man. This business is just a lot of moving pieces, and you got to be good. You got to be smooth about it, and you got to treat people well, I think.
Right. I really appreciate you breaking all that down, because the average person doesn't know what a marijuana business goes through. And I would imagine I still suffer from PTSD with Bell and being in the hospital. So I can only imagine, your triggers as well, or anyone else's in this industry for that matter. And again, it's keeping.
Yeah. 6 break-ins we've had.
Oh my goodness.
Like throughout the course of it all. And like, those night calls are not fun. So.
Yeah. We're just breaking into this industry and trying to get it up and running, and to hear those stories, thank you for breaking that down.
Yeah, but it's different now with regulation than it used to be, and
for sure.
Probably speaking too loose, I apologize, but I'm just trying to break it down what it is and what it was and what it's going to hopefully be, in the future, is just like any other industry, like owning a bank basically is what it's
right.
Feels similar to now. But we keep really good security. Lansing police are great. I think regulations really help cut down on all this street stuff, and I feel like it's been so good for the city of Lansing.
Right.
Honestly, I don't think it could have gone better with like the transition to the regulated market through like Robin's leadership. I feel like we've kind of taken cannabis off the streets and out of drug dealers' hands and put it in like licensed businesses, and I think we've done a really good job, and I think it's been really impactful for the city. And I know we're stimulating the economy. These guys spend these marijuana.
Oh yeah, we are totally stimulating the economy.
It was funny. I talked to a door guy at the hotel I was staying at, and he's like, marijuana was here last week. I was like, oh, how'd those guys treat you? He goes, man, that's new money right there. So, I think just the impact of the industry has been so positive, and I think there's probably a lot less alcohol related issues going on right now, and we're seeing a transition to older people getting involved in cannabis and smoking and edibles and transdermal patches, people you would never expect. I think they're realizing, I'm not getting hung over from this. It's natural. This stuff's regulated and tested,
Yeah. And there's no side effects.
No side effects.
No side effects. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm a little chubby, so I would say that I battle the bulge, so I would say there are a few side effects, but they mainly include 2 food groups of salt and sweet. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, if that's what I have to worry about for my side effects, I'll take that any day.
Yeah, well, you're in a different boat than me, but yeah, either way.
Absolutely. Well, Tom, I appreciate you coming on and spending time with us. I enjoyed hearing your story. And what's next for you? What's in the future? Do you have any plans?
Yeah, so I'm working really hard on a brand. So we have Homegrown at Jolly and Penn. You guys know my store,
Yes.
Just a little shout out to our crew over there. My best friend Chris is the GM. He holds it down. We try to really take care of patients.
I love coming into your store.
We only have the one retail location. We had some others. We sold a couple. The reason is we're really building behind the scenes the grow facilities. We're building more and more grow space. We're up to 40,000 right now, trying to get bigger, but also trying to keep that that chef with love in the kitchen. Our head grower is amazing, and he's a great guy. And so like we've really been trying to build this. We have this brand launching November 1st called Gorilla Grown, GUERLLA, Gorilla Grown, like guerrilla warfare, like old school, like the Che Guevara hat, gorilla. So we thought that was really cool, symbolic. So, and then we had Harambe was our brand for a while, which paid honor to the gorilla that was fallen, that was trying to save the kid in the Cincinnati Zoo. And that was always a big hit. And we kind of evolved Harambe into Gorilla Grown. So we've got, I had a local artist, Tiffany Klein, who just was an art prize, do like a 15-foot gorilla for me. So we have a gorilla statue going in front. We're launching the brand new packaging. And really what I'm focused on is trying to get in as many retails as I can in Metro Detroit, Grand Rapids, all over the state, similar to what Ryan's done with Redemption, and build that brand and build that flower and keep that flower like that local, loved, homegrown kind of brand of flower that everybody likes, not get commercial, not put out booth, but put out fire. So we're working really hard behind the scenes with genetics and flower and really just trying to blast it all over the state. That's what we're working on behind the scenes.
Wow. I cannot wait for that to come out. That's exciting.
Packaging's awesome. My partner,
Okay.
and I'm not going to shout out him yet because I don't know if he wants to be on here, but he's the man. I got a really, really smart cat behind the scenes doing this for me. So I know we're going to do big things with his support.
That's awesome. Packaging's half the battle too, it seems like.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we're doing a really good job. We got some really good marketing people behind it. We're releasing that November 1. We were supposed to release October 1st, but with COVID and supply chain stuff, it's hard to get packaging. So
Right.
And at the same time, we're releasing our new grow that's over on Kalamazoo Street, and we're going to be dropping all this great flower.
Wow, that's exciting. That's exciting to hear.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. And that's what I really like to do is like the sales part and the networking part. And this gives me an opportunity to kind of like meet everybody and get in everybody's store. And that's a part of the business that really gets me going is just networking and being involved, man, being involved with everybody.
Right. Well, we appreciate your involvement, definitely. And thank you for being a part of MiCIA and all that you do. I don't want to keep up any more of your time. It sounds like you're getting company, and you promised us a half an hour. So yeah. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. I really enjoy talking to you guys, and I just can't say enough how proud I am of your group and Robin and you and your story and you're launching, I know, your brand for your daughter, which is so awesome. And I think that's so inspiring. But like, I just encourage you guys to just keep your foot on the gas and like and own the state, because you have all the resources and all the tools now, I think, to be number one. And I think you'll continue to stay on top. And if we can hold on to Michigan, man, I just hope in 10 years when we're up at that Torch Lake cellar and we're looking at it, we can all just smoke a joint and reflect and just be like, wow, how do we do this? You know? So,
yeah, exactly.
Because
we're
still in the dogfight. Don't think for a second we're not, you know?
Yeah.
And we're going to be in it for a minute, but I'll put my money on the guys that are in this industry and you guys. So I'm hoping to see us on top in 10 years.
Yeah. And that's where we'll be, on top in 10 years.
All right, Ida. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Tom. Take care and have fun, and we'll see you later.
Had a lot of fun. Chop it up with me anytime. I'm here. See you.
Absolutely. I'll see you soon. Bye. All right. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Real quick, we're going to give a shout out to our ancillary company, Locked In. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Cal Kaufman.
And I'm John Price.
We're with Locked In Companies in Michigan, with offices in Detroit, Birmingham, and Grand Rapids.
In supporting cannabis companies for nearly 8 years, our cannabis team has taken a unique approach to serving an underserved market where the cannabis industry must rely on a partner to navigate a small pool of carriers to help them procure the correct coverage to meet organizations' needs.
We support human capital and employee benefits, business insurance, and retirement services. We have over 125 cannabis clients nationally and represent over $20 billion in market cap.
And we don't stop there. We have partnerships with 30 cannabis insurance carriers, and we work to identify additional risk that may be uninsurable and help an organization develop a strategy that aligns with their corporate goals and objectives.
We look forward to talking with you and seeing how and if we can help your company grow.
All right. Thank you, Locked In. We appreciate that video. Thank you for sending that in. Next week, we hope you join us with, one of our board members, Nick Agro. He was on our second show where we had a few technical difficulties. So we're going to have him back on and re-interview him and get to know a little bit more about him. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on the flip side. Take care.